Okay, and we are live. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever it is you are on the face of the earth. Thank you for joining us. This is Living Health TV. My name is Gbenga Adebayo, and I'm your host today. And today we want to take a look at very important. We're taking a look at the skill called assertiveness. Assertiveness. This is an important skill for everyone to have. Everyone must develop it. About it is that anyone can learn to be more assertive, to be better at being assertive. So, if this is your very first time of joining us, thank you for joining us. Welcome, welcome to this show. And I'd like you to please do us a favor. Please, can you subscribe to this channel if you have not done so? Like this video, drop a comment, let us know where you are joining us from. Assertiveness is what we want to discuss today. But before we go dive into assertiveness, this is Living Health TV, so of course, health is important to us. Health is one of the things that we talk about. And today being the 4th of February, it's an important day on the health calendar. We are commemorating something that is so important today, and that's World Cancer Day. World Cancer Day. If you know enough people, right? If you know enough people, you will know someone that has died from cancer. You know someone that has died from cancer. Cancer is a scourge. Cancer is a problem. Cancer of the brain, cancer of the breast, cancer of the prostate gland, cancer of the bones, cancer of the blood, abnormal proliferation of cells. So common, and it's a huge problem. Millions and millions of people die every year as a result of cancer. The good news is cancer, if detected early, can be managed. Oh, in fact, some is it cervical cancer? We know viruses are at play. So what we do, what we are encouraging people to do is prevention and have a preventive approach towards cancer. So the vaccines that will help with this viruses, go get it if you be a girl. Cervical cancer vaccine, widely available. HPV vaccine, widely available. Please, 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 let's protect ourselves. Visit all our social media handles, Living Health NG, at Living Health NG on Facebook, on Instagram, and of course Living Health TV. We have tons of content on how you can help yourself and keep cancer at bay, right? World Cancer Day, please stay cancer free. Stay cancer free. Thank you so much. Right to the meat of what we want to discuss today, and that's the skill of assertiveness. Assertiveness, and like I said, it's a skill that you and I can develop. It's a skill that we must learn to develop. Now, let me tell you a story. That's something that happened to me some years back. So I had a program in the city of Benin, in Benin City. I took a shuttle, a bus shuttle, because of previous experience. This was like maybe 15 years ago. But while I was preparing for this, the story just came to my mind over 15 years ago. So I took a shuttle from Lagos to Benin City. And based on my past experiences with this bus shuttle, like 4 or 5 hours bus shuttle, I had been in some before that where you're about to enter them, they will tell you it's an AC bus, it's AC, it's air conditioned bus. And then lo and below, you enter the bus right from where nothing, no. So before I go, as soon as I got to the park, I was one of the first people to get there. I asked, which bus is going? He told me it was that bus. I said, who's the driver of this bus? They showed me one guy. Like, this guy is the driver, and they carry you now. They were speaking for, this is not the driver now. They carry us go Benin now. Okay, now you be the driver of this bus. The next land, I'm like, what do you want now? I said, this bus, I said, see, now. They're not AC bus. So she not AC bus. You sure say this bus now AC bus? They say, you not see her now. You know that AC, now AC bus, now pay. So you have to pay so that you can book your seat. Okay, so I paid because I'd done what I thought I could do to confirm that it was an AC bus. Okay, so waited a few hours and then it was time to go. Lo and behold, it was totally somebody else that I had not seen since I'd been there. Just entered the bus, boom, started. The people did all the confectionery prayers and all that. Okay, so we were going. So I was expecting the guy to put on the AC because they had assured me, they promised me it was an air-conditioned bus. Okay, I thought, okay, we're going, no AC. What was happening? So I asked him, I said, okay, driver, please now, when you go put on AC? They say, no, AC boy. I said, which AC? I'm like, come on. I was. So he just entered. I thought, just said, wait. He entered the fuel station, bought fuel, and then we started going. Somebody said this is not AC bus now. While I was remonstrating and saying, but you said this was an AC bus. I was promised this one, but lo and behold, the one woman sitting beside me just raised her voice. I had no issues with this woman, but she just raised her voice. I better keep quiet there. Just they ask for AC. Which AC? You get AC for your house? Oh, so I looked at the woman. She's an elderly person. And I felt it wasn't going to be beneficial for me to tangle her start to get into an exchange of words. I said, Mommy, please, I think that was an uncalled for statement. And but she just, and everybody, every other person, we're about 10 people in that bus. Every other person kept quiet. He just kept quiet and so they're going to cheat us like this. We paid for this. So I just thought to myself, what can I do? And that's where assertiveness comes in. What are the things that you can do? Assertiveness is a social skill where you are self-assured and self-confident and demand for what you need to get done without being aggressive. You are not being aggressive. You are not fighting. You are not. So let's not confuse assertiveness with aggressiveness. They are not the same thing. If someone is assertive, you can be calm. In fact, you should be calm. You should be collected to be able to say what you want while respecting the boundaries of other people, while respecting the opinions of other people. Because if you are not assertive on the face of the earth, one of the things that is going to happen is either you keep to the other side, you are aggressive, become aggressive. You just become someone that believes until I shout, until I fight, then I can have my way. Or you become the other person that becomes just docile, anything goes. People can do whatever they want to you. Self-assured, self-confidence, without being aggressive. So do you know what I did in that bus? I just looked around, thought about, and I just saw there was a sticker right there at the top of the bus that says customer care, call us in case anything is wrong with this. Just anything. There was a customer, so I just picked my phone and I called that number. I said, good afternoon. I said, good afternoon. So I said, please, I'm in this bus. The bus had number, they had serial numbers. And before I entered this bus, I was told it's an AC bus. Now the driver has refused to put on this AC for us. I hope you can intervene and sort this out. And then, what's the number of your bus? I told him the number. He said, sorry, sir. It is an AC bus. It's an AC bus. Please, let me talk to the driver. As soon as I gave the driver the phone, the driver said, sorry, don't be so now. I just want to put that on, na for him. I just want to put that, na. Apparently, the guy was trying to do a scam. If he puts on the AC, what he has been given as fuel, he will have to, he will spend less without using the AC, and then he can pocket that and then put all of us inside the bus in that inconvenience for his service we paid for, right? For his service we paid for. As soon as the guy put on the AC, after that call, of course, he put on the AC, and do you know what happened in the bus? People started hailing me. Wow, you are the freedom fighter of our time. You are the, those guys calling names of the renowned freedom fighters that we had at that time. And I kept quiet. And I just, even the woman that insulted me, so to speak, she too, she just kept quiet. What did I do? I was assertive. Uh, you need assertiveness every day that you relate in your relationships, in homes, at work, at play. Are you a student? You need to learn to be assertive. So now the key thing about for us to know is that this skill can be learned. It must, in fact, be learned. If you are not assertive, if you do not learn to stand for what you believe, people are going to call you names. People are going to, they are going to give you labels. People are going to push your boundaries. People are going to, it's just confrontation is unavoidable in life. You can't avoid um, misunderstanding. But if we learn to communicate better, if we learn to interact better, then we will be the better for it. So that you don't keep quiet. What some people do is when somebody says something that they know is obviously wrong, or they are intruding on your space, they are annoying you, people keep quiet. And then you know what some people now do? When you do something wrong the first time, you keep quiet. They're not going to talk to you about it. They're not going to tell you. They will just keep quiet and be watching you. Then do you know what happens? The next time you now do something, it may be something petty. They will just blow up and overreact. They will feel they are justified for that overreaction because of what they endured in the past, what they felt they endured. That's bad. That's because that person has not learned assertiveness. That person has not learned how to relate and so that people can respect their boundaries. They also uh, cannot. They feel they just do very, very, very funny things, right? Have you been in some thanks? Yeah, thank you, Julian. Welcome. Have you been in some situation before where somebody did something wrong to you and you kept quiet? You kept quiet, and weeks after, you are still nursing that pain and that hurt. What that meant was that you missed an opportunity to be assertive. You missed an opportunity to be assertive. And if you are not as, even service providers, people that you're paying like that guy was paid, they just treat you. Or even in relationships, the husband and wife relationship, um, brother and sister relationship, siblings relationship, all children must also learn to be assertive. Or else the children can actually, in fact, bullying amongst kids, those kids, 5-year-old, 6-year-old, they can be really vicious with each other. They can be really, really vicious in their relationships, bully themselves. No, my daughter came to tell me some time ago that somebody is always sad. I said, why is she always sad? He said, she's always sad because people don't allow her to talk. So when they are in there, my daughter at this time, she's now 6 or 5. So when they're having discussions amongst themselves, whenever this particular girl wants to talk, so one other girl will just, take over the scene, and they will not allow her to talk, and the girl will just go and stop. And she will tell me this girl. So I said, no, go and tell her that she speak out. She must learn to speak. Yeah. So part of the things that, what are the ways? So that's I've given us examples of assertiveness and what it is. It's a social skill, and the beautiful thing about it is that this social skill can be learned. In fact, it must be learned. It is not the same thing as being aggressive. People may confuse being assertive with being. I will speak my mind. This kind of stuff. No, that's not what. That's not what we're really talking about. We're talking about first you being self-assured. So with self-assured, with this sense of being self-assured, you are calm. So you can pass across, you're able to sit down, digest information, and still insist. In that vehicle, I did not shout, I did not fight. I will show you, Pepe. And a lot of people that do all those kind of stuff and say they are being assertive, they are just being aggressive. Some people are passive aggressive. they are pulling people down with their words. I read something today. Somebody shared something with me, a post on the Twitter. Twitter, social media can really, really, really be a vicious place. So somebody put there, a lady put there, we're no longer looking for good looks. Yeah, what we want now is peace of mind, love, joy, loyalty, and all that. And somebody replied that and said, this would have been good for you to have done all this before you became a single mother. I said, what? Why will you reply to someone? And that's, people throw all kinds of wicked words, especially on social media, where there's a veneer of anonymity. People, but what are still really terrible on social media? You must learn to hold your own. Learn to, where there's misinformation, where, calmly, assertively make your point known. So that you don't leave that interaction. If you find yourself leaving interactions with people, either on social media, in church, at mosque, at work, and you find yourself feeling bad and feeling like you have been trodden upon, and you feel so powerless that you can't do anything about it, probably you need to learn to be assertive. And being assertive, we are not talking about um, uh, it's not just, we are not only assertive with peers, you can be assertive with people that are your superiors, people that you report to, even the people that report to you. You can also learn to be assertive with them. Societies as well. In fact, one of the things that society learns over time is that we get more assertive over some matters. There are issues that we never used to talk about some years ago, but now we can talk about them. So one of the key things to building and developing assertiveness is to get to know what are your rights, what are the things that you are good at, what are the things that belongs to you. Be assured of them. Know your skills. So I think highly assertive people are people that are highly emotionally intelligent. And one of the components of emotional intelligence is self-awareness. Do you know yourself? Right? Do you know who you are, what to stand for? Or do you need people to validate who you are, what you are? No. It doesn't matter what you call me, what you don't call me, and who I am, and what I am. And I think I have a fair knowledge of my weaknesses. I have a fair knowledge of my strengths. And those that I'm not aware about, I try to keep an open mind. I'm not saying I succeed all the time. I try to keep an open mind when somebody points this out to me and I consider, is this possible? Because nobody can make you feel inferior without your permission. So we should not try. We should stop trying to live a life where we are striving and striving and striving and believing that our happiness is in the future. So you need to be aware of uh, of your strengths or weaknesses, a high level of and what belongs to you, what you own, then you can make a stand because you now know what is wrong. So if somebody, for instance, come to meet me now and say, "You are not a doctor." I don't know why somebody will say that. Or you because you are not in the hospital. You are not a doctor. You are not a physician. You are not a proper physician. I'm not even going to engage that kind of person in that kind of discussion because that's a non-issue. So some of the issues that you fight, and you must pick your fight. You must pick your fight and not fight over with it. So know what you are. Differentiate between assertiveness and non-assertiveness. This was a skill that I had to learn. And how did I learn it? I discovered that I play over my day in my head. I play interactions. I'll just play it over, review it, just kind of, what did I do? I had this conversation. And I ask myself how conversations could have gone. And I see where my weaknesses or mistakes or things could have gone. So in doing that, you start to identify the opportunities to be assertive. So when that opportunity comes again, remember we spoke last week about how you build habits. Right? So who remembers somebody watching the process for building positive habits? What's the first one? It's a cue. Yeah. So when you see a cue, you have a craving, you have a response, and then you have the dopamine hit, you have the reward. So in reviewing your interactions, you get to start to have a sense of the cues that makes you either to go in avoidance, because some people don't like conflict. So some people, when just make this thing, what they do is they just keep quiet because they don't want conflict, they don't want trouble. You recognize that cue. Once you recognize that cue, then you tell yourself, this is what I should do. Or what should I do? Why am I responding this way? Let me tell you a story. My two older children, while they were kids, um, the elder sister always bowed to the younger brother, always did whatever the child wants. All that needs to say is, I don't want to be your friend. He goes, okay, come and be my friend. Come and be my friend. And I was watching them one day, just talking to their kids. But one day, she just wanted to be assertive. So when I was, I'm not going to be your friend again, she said, don't be my friend. And that was the first time. So the cue, I think she must have recognized that every time this guy says, I don't want to be your friend again, that this is what I always do. So one day she did something different. She said, don't be my friend. No problem, I'll be my friend. Of course, they were still friendly, grew they were still very friendly with one another. But what did she learn? The cue. Some of us, we respond in negative ways when we get a cue that someone says, okay, this person doesn't like me. So because you are afraid of that rejection, you do what you don't want to do. Because you are afraid of maybe what people will think. So you go to a counter, and they do it a lot in supermarkets. They play on that your reluctance to live up to the Joneses and not be disappointed. So you go to a counter, you pick something up from the shelf, and you get to the cashier, and the cashier, you saw there was a sticker on that thing, and the sticker said it's maybe 50 naira. And then you get in front of the cashier, and what you thought was 50 naira is 100 naira. And so because people are queuing up behind you, and they are saying, and you are saying, I will drop it. I don't. You see, you like I said, self-assured. The foundation of assertiveness comes from a sense of knowing that this is who I am. This is what I am. I'm not going to buy something I did not budget for because I'm going to look embarrassed by not picking it up. What does that help? And they do that a lot in stores, right? So you have bought all those things. Excuse me, I'm going to drop it. Assertiveness. Without draw boundaries. Respect the rights of people and let them also respect your the foundation of assertiveness stems from confidence and self-assuredness. That you are self-assured. That this is who I am. This is what you are not going to embarrass me to doing something that I don't want to do. No. You simply will not, especially force me to give something. And this happens sometimes also in gatherings where they are raising money, fundraising. Somebody says this person has given this, and that's how people make vows, make promises that they don't keep. Please don't do that. One of the uncles that made me, I had an uncle, God rest his soul. As a child, so when we go for parties, I know this these musicians, they will sing his name, sing his praise. Do you know what my uncle would do? He will go and dance. He's not going to, you're going to sing his praise. He will dance, but he will not give you 5 kobo. He will not give you a dime. He will dance, and after you have finished, and the musicians will be wondering, what? What is this guy that is we are singing? You are not going to force me to do what I don't want to do. And then we stem from a place of confidence. Confidence. I am who I am. I am who I am. Assertiveness. Let me tell you another story. Okay, if you say so. But I respected that about him. I really respected that about him because you are not going to force him to give you some. He's confident in himself. Not just. So many years ago, I had a vehicle that was not very good. You know there are vehicles that drive you. You're not the one driving them. Even though I was a physician, doctor, but the route I've taken, my career route, was taking the route of entrepreneurship, trying to do things myself. I was good at what I do, good at public speaking and training and management consulting and all that. But so I only made money when I had money. So it was a car I could afford at that time. I used to call it a Benz 120. Why was it 120? It was a Benz 300. So I'm 200 rather. By the time the person I bought it from, I used 40. So yeah, we had used. The car was a terrible car. So I used to avoid taking the car to places. So if I could, but once I get to the place to dress, wear my suit, clean my shoe, my one pair of shoes, just look neat, right? And that time I didn't used to keep. In fact, my hair used to be lower than this. You see pictures of my, and even when I look at this picture, I look a little bit younger than 2 weeks ago. If you check last week and this week, I think I look a little bit younger because when I cut my hair, I look like a kid. I look like a boy. So I got to the place, and it was a Sheraton Hotels and Towers in Lagos. It was a data mining training program. So they were doing data mining, highly technical training program. So the organizer of the program thought, okay, as we're doing this data mining, let's put a little bit of soft, training on. Let's invite Dr. Adebayo. Okay, Dr. Adebayo came. So I got there in a bit to do ice breaking. As soon as I got there was a guy there, was a professor, associate professor there. And he just looked at me, and he despised me. Just looked at me, what is this guy going to teach us? What is that? While he was saying that, the person that invited me to the program was trying to come and, oh, no, don't worry, Dr. Adebayo is qualified. Because I look like one of his students. So he was wondering, why will you invite my student? I will pay money for somebody. So I just told the person, no, I will handle him. I will take care of him. You don't need to force. You don't need to bail me out. I don't need your bailout to handle my class. As far as I was concerned, he was my student, and I was going to train him. He didn't have to, my looks, the way I looked, he did not. So I said, no. I told him what I'd done, tried to speak, broke ice, made them laugh, spoke. After I finished my session, they got up and they sang for me. For he is a jolly good fellow, he is a jolly good fellow. Assertiveness. I wasn't aggressive with him. I didn't say, I know what I'm doing, Joe. Who are you? Of course, if I did that, I wasn't going to get paid. Certainly, I wasn't going to be invited back by the person that invited me. If assertiveness, like what all I'm saying is, my being assertive had nothing to do with what I had or what I didn't have, my car, my whatever it is. No, it had to do with my self-confidence, be self-assured. I knew what I wanted to teach them. They asked something that I could teach them, and I needed to fight them to teach them. My people in Yoruba land have a saying that once you start to ask a younger one, don't you know I'm your senior one? That means there's a problem. That means if you yourself you are not sure. There's a problem in that relationship. And then, so be self-assured. That's the foundation of assertiveness. And then the next one, of course, is communication. Right? In fact, assertiveness is actually a communication skill. It's a communication skill. If you find yourself that every time you relate with people, you feel you have not said, that means you need to learn to reach out. You need to learn to communicate. Whether it's on social media, whether it's a real life interaction, whether it's at play, at work, you need to learn to listen, to get people to know that you are listening to them, and then to speak. And that we speak doesn't mean we have to agree, but that we disagree does not mean that we have to be disagreeable. Do you get that? But you must be in a place, get to a place that you can say what you want to say. Be at peace with what you have said, and be at peace, even people, because part of assertiveness is respecting people's opinions, right? So if I speak to you, if I say to you, let's do this, and you say you don't agree, it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't. I remember I put a post somewhere on my IG page. If you are not following me on Instagram, you need to go and follow me on Instagram. At Dr. Adebayo is the handle to follow. So I put something about somebody put a medical report out. It was a false medical report, forged medical report, and put it to women in concern and stuff like that. So he put it out there, and I saw it, and I was dismayed. He was trying to get an exemption for his national youth service. Okay, so and I put it there, and I said, this is forgery. This is fake. That a doctor, no doctor will write like this, that this is a false information. And so somebody wanted to tackle me. Social media can be a really vicious place. I said, can you as a doctor be putting all this kind of things? So sometimes I ignore people like that. But at this time, I felt I needed him to understand that he was writing rubbish, but I needed to make it, you can tell someone to go to hell and the person will look forward to the journey. So I explained to him why that was wrong medical practice, why it was right for me to call it out. And he now responded, thank you. Now that you put it this way, I think I understand. That's being assertive. Being assertive is not to now call him and say, it's because you are not wise. If you are wise, if you have borrowed some sense, you will know that this person, and that's what people, let's be assertive. Let's practice proper assertiveness. I think I've spoken a lot today. So we've not gone, it's an introduction. We've talked about the power of assertiveness, and I've used some stories to tell you. I've told you that it's a social skill. It's a social skill that can be learned, that should be learned. In fact, it has to be learned, has to be taught to our children. I've given you some stories. I've told you that the foundation of it is self-assuredness and confidence. And then I've also told us that communication is a communication skill. So if you learn to communicate better, learn to process better, and part of communication, every time we train communication, we teach people on communication. Communication is not just speaking. Communication is also listening. Right? In fact, listening is said to be white magic. If you can listen to people properly and you can practice active listening, you'll be a better communicator. Right? Okay. So if there are questions, I'll be happy to take those questions. Please, let's drop the questions in the comment section and I will take them. Right? Questions. Right? Questions. Are there questions? Any question on this matter or any other matter? If you have questions, let's put them there. And if there are no questions, let people, if you are here, just say you are here. Tell me something you have learned today. You can put for me in your comment box something you have learned, something that you think is interesting that you have heard today. And you say, wow, doctor, I like this. This is interesting. This is important. And we have that in the comment box. What you've learned, I think, let's pin this. Yeah, my colleague helped to put that up. Yes, assertiveness is not the same thing as aggressiveness. Yeah, very true. Right? Anything, somebody else? Julian, oh, thank you. Mommy is here. Thank you. Thank you for joining us. Take me talk where. What have you learned? Right? I can see some people are still online. Tell me what you have learned. You can be assertive without being aggressive. Yes, you can be assertive without being aggressive. Thank you. Thank you, Julian, for that. What else? What else have you learned today? What else have you learned today? As you write it, part of what you are doing is that you are reinforcing the brain circuits and you're developing an habit. So you can build assertiveness. You can build it, right? Build assertiveness. Okay. All right. Let's continue the discussion. Whatever we've learned, please remember to share this video with your friends. Tag someone in the comment section that you think this may benefit. Share it on WhatsApp, on Facebook, on Instagram. Just share it and let people learn to be. If you can be better if you can practice accepting it better, we will be the better for it. So thank you everyone that's tuned in and those that are watching after now. It's been bold. Yes, yes. Thank you. Have a beautiful weekend ahead and God bless you.